Hey everyone, my name is Justin. Welcome to the channel where my son and I take a look at games, classic and modern, and give our thoughts on how these games appeal to different generations.
As I said in our Pathless video, there's something special about simplicity in gaming. Not every game needs to be a world-saving adventure or us against an invading army. Sometimes simple and quiet leads to poignant moments of reflection. And that brings us to today's title, Never Alone, and its DLC, Foxtails, a short, 3.5 hour long co-op adventure about a little girl and her fox companion.
The base game of Never Alone is based on an Inuit folktale about a little girl whose village is constantly facing horrible blizzards, and she sets out to find the source of said blizzard and stop it. Along the way, she is joined by an Arctic fox that can interact with spirits and aids her in platforming and solving environmental puzzles. Throughout this brief journey, she is hunted by a polar bear, attacked by the Terrible Man, and must overcome obstacles both natural and supernatural. While the story is short, it does a great job of getting across the theme of perseverance and courage. We aren't some grand warrior, we're just a little girl trying to help her family and her people.
Absolutely agree, bud. And at the same time, Foxtails, the DLC, is a short add-on secondary tale about the little girl, here a brave hunter, setting off on a short boating trip and swimming into a nearby lake where she encounters a giant sea rat that's terrorizing another village. And our quest is to stop the monster so that everyone can live in peace. Now, normally we would have a section where we discuss the characters of the game. However, in this game, there's really just the two characters, the fox and the little girl. Now, in our playthrough, I controlled the little girl and Vincent controlled the fox. As the little girl, you are just a platformer. You run, jump, you do get a boa that you can hurl at objects to break ice or to activate spirits that are floating around, but there's not a lot of character to her, so we're going to focus mostly on the gameplay elements. Now, from a gameplay standpoint, the little girl controls very well. There's not a lot of lag, not a lot of drift. She runs, jumps, climbs, hurls her boa to break ice blocks or to activate spirit orbs in a very satisfying manner. The puzzles in the game are not overly difficult. They do require a little bit of thought, but it requires mostly good teamwork between you, as the little girl, and your fox friend.
And that's where I come in. As the fox, we're running around, interacting with spirits to try to help the girl get around. Whether that's making a spirit she can climb on, help her climb stuff, platform on, really anything. Now, other things with the fox include unique platforming abilities, such as climbing walls and wall jumping. Now, this is very fun, but they didn't make the fox really easy. I like how they balanced the two.
Absolutely agree, bud. Both characters in the game are equally as important and equally difficult. It really balances out the co-op element of this game. It's one that, as a father and son, I really felt we could sit down together and play through. And again, being a short game helps, and both of us get a satisfying experience out of it. The music of this game was really well done. It felt like it was inspired by the Inuit people, and as far as I'm aware, was true to that tribe and their music. It was subdued, it was beautiful, it was there, but never really in your face.
I agree, Dad. Now, the one thing I have against the music is it feels like it only has one soundtrack. And while, yeah, it's really good music, I would have liked a bit more variety.
Yeah, I understand that, son. It was simplistic and it was a bit repetitive. Now, graphically speaking, this was a beautiful game. For being made by a smaller team, I feel like they did a great job of capturing the essence of what they were trying to get through with the little girl, what they're trying to convey. The game has almost like a Studio Ghibli kind of a claymation look to it. The little girl is animated, she's expressive. The fox is adorable, also expressive, as far as expressive as a fox can be. But I felt like they did the most with the resources they had. The game is very clean, it's very well animated.
I agree, Dad. Now, if I have to pick a highlight for this graphics, it's the spirits. They were really interesting to look at, and each one was different in its own way. It was interesting to see, wow, wonder what this guy's gonna look like.
Never Alone is a short little game that we found digging through our PlayStation backlog, and I'm really glad we decided to go back and give it a shot. It's a beautiful little game that knows what it's trying to be. At about 3.5 hours with the base game and DLC, You can easily play through this in a night. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It knows what it's trying to tell, and it doesn't pad its runtime with other meaningless, stupid stuff. But one thing about this game that I have to talk about is a really cool mechanic where there's these owls hidden throughout the game. And if you find an owl, it will unlock a short video you can watch that gives you an insight into the Inuit people, into their tribe, into their culture, and their way of doing things. And I think having a game with educational elements like that gives you a direct insight to the inspiration behind the game and the culture behind it, something where it's not implied, it's a, hey, here's a short documentary about Arctic wolves, a short documentary about these people and what they do and how they survived in these Arctic tundras, is a really great element that I wish more games would put forward.
I agree, Dad. I think they did a great job introducing us to the Inuit people. Even the cutscenes are narrated in the Inuit language and drawn in what I can only assume is the traditional art style. It was really cool and different than anything I've ever seen in gaming. So that said, how would you rate this, Dad?
Never Alone is a game that really surprised me, and I'm going to go a bit higher than I thought, which is an 8 out of 10. I like this game a lot. The art style is beautiful, the gameplay is smooth. I have a couple of gripes about the game. The boa controls that you have are kind of clunky and can be frustrating. Sometimes the game requires you to use the wind gusts to propel yourself, and it can be really hard to tell when the wind is gusting versus just blowing, which can lead to some really frustrating deaths. The saving grace for this game is it does autosave, like checkpoint save, very frequently, so it's not the end all be all of a problem, but it is an annoyance. That said, there is a sequel to this game and announced that it's supposed to be out this year in 2024, and I really hope that the people that made this game are able to refine their craft a little bit more, because if they do, this could be something really special.
I agree, Dad. Personally, I think this game deserves a 7 out of 10. It was a great game with some unique things like those videos you can pop up, or the Inuit art style is really neat. I think the co-op feature was really interesting, and I kind of like the concept. So those are our quick thoughts on Never Alone. Have you tried this little gem? Comment below and let us know. And as always, if you like what we're doing, show us some support with a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks, everyone.